Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chat from a Hat. I'm your host, Josh Brown, along with my co-host,
Caleb Luther.
Caleb. How are you doing, sir?
Okay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain. Wouldn't do me any good anyway. Caleb,
Sure.
we got a lot to catch up on. You know that?
Do we?
No, we don't.
I
We don't have a
think
lot to catch up on at all.
I didn't think so.
You got to go see Beau is Afraid finally, though, so I'm sure you're excited about that.
I mean, I was excited. I mean, I still am excited about it. I was especially excited before seeing it. Yeah. Loved it a lot. It's very weird. It's long. But out of all the
It's about 3.5 hours too
out of all
long.
the Ari Aster movies, by a wide margin, it's the funniest because it's a dark comedy. Like it's meant to be funny, whereas like some people unintentionally laughed in Hereditary, the laughs in this, like it pushes over to absurdist territory. It's very funny. Yeah, that bogusness. But yeah, definitely made for a specific audience, and that audience is me. And there's a lot of things to read in deeper with the movie, but even if I didn't do that, I would still just fully enjoy the movie for just the pure 4-act, because it's a 4-act movie. Just 4-act chaos, which each act going a different way, and sometimes like it'll throw a curveball, and like sometimes as an audience member you gotta go along with it. Like, okay, this is what we're gonna do for the next 40 minutes. Yeah, I'm not even sure if you like it. Don't know. I have no read on who on earth would like it, but
I do like Joaquin Phoenix, though, so I mean...
I think, I thought it was a very funny movie, particularly the first 2 acts. The first act especially, we were all laughing a lot.
I mean, I'd watch
it gets
it.
to the third act and it becomes a lot more artsy, but the third act has the best thing in the movie that, like, I think it would be totally... Everybody would have to agree that this one thing in the third act that has to do with the animation is the best thing about the movie. It was beautiful, and it goes. It's literally a 20-minute voiceover scene where someone's speaking while this montage of things is happening. It's 20 minutes long.
Okay.
And
I'm fine with that.
it was incredible. And then the fourth act is just... Gosh, there's things seared into my brain that's never going to leave. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, whenever you get the chance, you should watch it. And I would like to watch it again with you.
We will watch it.
If you hate it, I'll be so... I'll understand.
You're going to talk about it on the podcast.
I'll understand, but don't you dare. Don't you... Listen, I know you respect the art of filmmaking.
Sure.
And don't you dare dislike this movie. There's just too much. There's too much to respect about it. It's just this guy just did whatever he wanted to do. No one stopped him. Maybe they should have, because it ain't gonna make money. It's made like $5 million and it cost $35 million. So
it's a pet project for him, probably.
it's great though. It was his best directing. I still don't think it's as strong as Hereditary, because Hereditary is just a horror like masterpiece. This is close. This was my second favorite from him.
Awesome.
Yep.
So that will definitely be a movie that you and I will watch. I don't know if Nancy will watch it. She probably will.
Force her to watch.
She'll watch it.
She has to watch.
She has to watch it.
She has to see these
How
things.
you will watch
it. It's a disturbing. Like it's one of the first times I've watched a dark comedy in theaters where I was laughing. I was like, man, if there was actual people in this movie theater, I don't know how they would all feel about us laughing at these things happening on screen. It's dark, and I would say that it pushes the line of being offensive. I think it would offend some people.
Really?
The second act especially. There's stuff in the second act I'm like, oh, yeah. It deals with a lot of taboo things. But it's very absurdist, though. It's almost like Walk Hard, if Walk Hard was just out of its mind dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do like some dark comedy, though, you and I.
This is the darkest.
Oh, whoa.
This
This might be the darkest thing we've ever done.
It's like the darkest comedy I've ever seen.
Well, while you were watching Beau is Afraid, I was watching Ace Frehley in concert. So that was
Can't
pretty
compare
cool.
the two.
Can't compare
Beau
the two.
is Afraid is greater.
Probably.
I don't know.
A lot of fun. Nancy and I went to Lorain, Ohio for the weekend. It was pretty nice. It's a nice little place up there. It's a lot like Logan, with it being kind of...
But better.
Yeah, better. Sorry. Not sorry.
I mean, it's not that difficult to do.
Well, it felt... here's the thing. Lorain, Ohio feels like a tourist town because there is a beach and things around it.
Yeah.
And it's not tourist season up there. So everything felt kind of barren because there wasn't a lot of traffic. There wasn't a lot of things open. A lot of things are actually open on the weekends up there. They're not open during the week, which is weird. But most of the stuff was open on like Fridays and Saturdays. Weird. But yeah, it was fun. Ace Frehley played a cool show, did a lot of the Kiss gimmicks and things, so it was pretty cool.
Do you have face paint on?
No, he didn't have the paint on. He was charging $50 a shirt though. I did not buy a shirt.
Yeah, I think 35 is a lot for
$50
a shirt.
bucks a shirt is like $50.
I like a $25 shirt.
Yeah.
I understand.
And
they
they
got to
were-
make money. But does Ace Frehley really got to make that money? He's doing better than probably a lot of indie artists that are charging $25. So.
Well, the thing of it was is that he played the Lorraine Palace, which looked to be about I would say probably 750 seats, possibly. Filled about a third of it.
Not really.
It wasn't a huge selling show.
Okay.
But it was okay. It was fun. That's check them off the bucket list of people. That's the first of 3 original Kiss members I'll see this year, so we'll check that off.
Cool.
Caleb, how's the Lakers doing?
I mean, they're looking great. Here's the problem with talking about the Lakers. Why I don't necessarily want to talk about the Lakers, because by the time this episode
talk about the Lakers.
by the time this episode airs, there will be 2 other games that I have not seen. They might lose those games, and then they'll be down 2-1 against the Warriors. But as of us recording this episode on a Wednesday, they beat the Warriors, and it's 1-0 in round 2, and they look like about the best team in the league, which is crazy. They started the season 2-10. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, we're having to record a few days early because I have wrestling and ASW and BGW this weekend. But by the time this episode comes out, that will already be done. So don't come to those shows because they don't exist.
Yeah, Lakers might fall apart.
Lakers-
you never know, the
Lakers
Warriors,
fall
they
apart.
live and die by the 3-point shot.
Yes, they do.
They made 21 of those bad boys last night, and the Lakers still won. I think fairly easily. I thought that they looked like the way better team. It's just late in the game. The Warriors were like, let's hit about 4 threes in a row so we can come back in 10 seconds.
And
That's not fair.
and I know-
it is fair.
And I know what you were doing. You were standing in your living room
so
going,
mad.
"Why? Block him!
This is
Guard
what-
him!
this is-
Somebody!"
I became an old man because I see people complain about today's NBA. They're like, that they shoot too many threes. I'm like, no, the players are just better at threes now. Deal with it. And then last night I was like, they're shooting too many threes. This is unacceptable. I became that guy. So yeah.
Unacceptable.
And the Lakers make about 5 threes a game. They're just not a big 3-point shooting team. I was like, come on, guys.
Right.
It's like make
right.
one.
I mean, I don't even know who's on the Lakers other than LeBron anymore.
Anthony Davis.
He ain't shooting no threes.
He shot a few. He did not make any.
I bet you.
And LeBron made about one.
He's
out
the
of,
Shaquille O'Neal of threes
No, he's not
right
bad.
now.
He's not a bad. He's shooting bad now, but he's a decent shot. LeBron was about 1 of 8 from the 3-point line. He's not a good.
Good job,
shooter.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
LeBron.
LeBron,
no.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations
LeBron's
came
going
out.
in?
LeBron's going in.
It's Cleveland.
It's
Cleveland. That's where he's from.
I know.
Oh wow.
The
It's all
first
connecting.
or second time he jumped ship.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Go back. Go back to Cleveland.
Go back to
They're
Cleveland.
good again.
Get another. He might just to get another ring. He might.
I think that they might win with the Lakers this year.
No, we'll see. Anyway,
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
so the performer category of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's only 7 nominees. We'll breeze through these real quick, and you can give your thoughts.
Okay, I don't know much about
I
it.
know you have a lot of thoughts.
Probably not. Maybe.
Real quick, Bernie Taupin is getting the Musical Excellence Award.
Oh, that's cool.
That's deserved.
Yeah.
That's deserved.
Who's that?
Bernie Taupin. He wrote the lyrics for Elton John.
You see, that name did not ring a bell to me.
Wow, you're such a Rocket Man fan, and you.
I've watched Rocket Man once in theaters, and I did like it. But
yes,
I don't remember names.
Bernie Taupin writes the lyrics for Elton John's music. Anyway,
I see.
so let's see here. The Spinners, Caleb. You know anything about the Spinners?
This rings a bell. I don't know.
Good for them.
Yeah, cool.
Rage Against the Machine is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How do you feel about
Rings a
that?
bell. Don't really know. I'm joking.
Don't they
mean-
sing "Freak on a Leash"?
They're pretty big. I mean, what? They probably need to be in there.
Sure.
I'm not the
sure.
biggest fan, but yeah, they're probably in there.
Willie Nelson is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of
Crazy.
Fame.
He's not in there yet.
I agree. I agree. You see, here's the
like
thing.
Willie Nelson.
Here's the thing. A lot of people are gonna like talk crap about these people that are going in, and they don't play rock and roll music, or they don't do this, or they don't do that. Rock and roll is more than just music. It's the mentality. It's the way that you bring yourself.
It's not necessarily a genre.
It's not a genre anymore.
Big, it's transcended the idea of what rock and roll is.
Right.
So, yeah.
Missy Elliott's going in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Sure.
She performed at the Super Bowl one year. So.
Sheryl Crow is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well.
Okay. All she wants to do is have some fun.
Yeah.
I got a feeling she's not
the only one.
So, yeah. I haven't seen this in 3 damn days. I don't know the words of that song with Kid Rock. I put your picture away. Yeah.
Well.
That should probably take her out.
I wish Kid Rock would just go away.
He's not going to go into the Rock.
He's not going to go into the Rock.
They wouldn't do that. They would not dare.
Oh, they would.
No, they would not.
I think they would.
No.
I think so.
No.
I think so.
Ain't nobody gonna tell him how to live.
Well, we talked about Morgan Wallen last week and how we want him to go
Listen,
away.
Kid Rock. Listen. I don't like Morgan Wallen. Kid Rock is so much worse than Morgan Wallen. It's not even close.
Welcome, new listeners. Goodbye, new listeners.
I'm sure the Kid Rock fans are just
Great. As they say on the Shout Out Loud cast, grand opening, grand closing.
Who's next?
Let's see. George Michael is going into the Hall of Fame. Cool. And you know what? I saw where a lot of people online were like, why is he going into the Hall of Fame? Why is he going into the Hall of Fame? I'm sorry. If you're going to talk rock and roll music and stuff like that, George Michael is way more rock and roll than Willie Nelson and Missy Elliott.
I mean, why wouldn't he go in?
Exactly. Why would he not go in?
Wham was big.
Why would he not go in?
And he was big, so yeah. Why not
go
in? Yeah.
Anyway. And last but not least, the one that you are totally excited for, Kate Bush.
Yeah. She 100% would not have if it wasn't for Stranger Things last year.
Yeah.
Which is sad. But I'm glad that happened. I'm not one of these, I'm not like a gatekeeper when it comes to Kate Bush. I want more people to hear her music.
Sure.
But it's just like she's always been great. She's always really had some of the best albums ever. And it's just a little sad that this got noticed because one song resurged because of The Biggest Show.
Well,
streaming.
But at the same time, though,
I'm glad.
Yeah, exactly. At least now more people are listening to her music and giving her the props that she deserves when it comes to her music.
I guess they are.
Yeah. I mean, she's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, wouldn't have happened without it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Caleb, that leads us to this week.
Oh, we're already there?
We're already there. We're only 12 minutes into the episode.
Food?
What happened?
What about the fast food? Or is there anything else to cover with fast food?
We're not covering anything else about fast food.
That was long. That was a long episode.
It was a long episode. It was an hour and a half. People were just so enamored by our rankings.
They were so upset.
They were upset.
Not really.
No. It's like music. It's a matter of preference and what you think is good and what you think isn't good.
Yeah.
Subway ain't that good.
It is. I just had it again today. It's still S tier to me. I get the same thing every time.
Well, Caleb, what we did something a little different. Instead of talking about Billy Joel and what people think about Billy Joel, next week we went ahead and you screened a little bit and then put out some feelers of what people's favorite Billy Joel songs are.
Yeah, I guess so. We can talk about it a little bit this week.
We got a bunch of people.
Billy Joel's big. He's big.
Talking about some of their favorites, and I'm gonna breeze through some of these before we get into our own.
Okay.
Let's see here. Cody Dickerson said that Allentown was his favorite Billy Joel song. Not a hard argument.
Allentown.
Liberty Imes said "Goodnight Saigon," "You're Only Human," "Honesty," and "Lullaby" are some of my favorites.
That's my cousin.
Joshua Johnson said "New York State of Mind," "Scenes from an Italian Restaurant," and "You May Be Right." Michael Dameron said "This Is the Time." Ginger Willis gave a huge list. Miami 2017, New York State of Mind, Vienna, Ballad of Billy Kid, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Says are fantastic songs. They're just so overplayed that I don't quote unquote hear them anymore, if you know what I mean. But I pretty much love everything. Dave Elkins said Vienna. Gina Hunter said Vienna. So Vienna seems to be, Lauren Shoemake said Vienna. So Vienna seems to be a fan favorite.
Fan favorite.
And then a few other people said Piano Man, My Life, Say Goodbye to Hollywood, The Longest Time, Moving Out.
A bunch of mainstreamers.
And Jesse Ramey said, "Why Should I Worry?" from Disney's Oliver and Company. Do you remember that song?
Yeah, I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I remember it.
Just making sure.
Is it on my list? Who's to say? No,
possibly.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Well, Caleb, real side note before we get started on Billy Joel. Billy Joel is one of the, as you said, one of the biggest selling artists of all time. I did not know that.
Yeah, I just saw that, and when I was listening, I was like, oh, Billy Joel. I'm glad that we're able to do this episode where maybe people don't know these Billy Joel songs. I'm like, well, I guess they do know because he's one of the highest selling
We are.
artists of all time.
Whoa, were we naive on that, right?
I guess I just didn't know. I was naive. I was naive.
Naivety, which is also on my list, by the way, the song Naivety.
Sure.
So, what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to rank our top 10 favorites that we have.
That's what the episode's called.
That's what the episode's
10
called.
Billy Joel songs.
So, Caleb, real quick, I will go ahead and tell you that most of the songs by Billy Joel that I knew before we really deep dived into this episode was 3 albums. And that,
same with
right.
If I'm being honest, 2 albums for the most part.
But the more that we got into listening to them, the more I found that I liked a lot of these songs and albums. Like,
me too.
Not so much the earlier stuff, but everything from everything from Turnstiles on had some songs on it that I was like, you know what, these are pretty good songs.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this past week.
Yeah.
It reminds me of why I love music so much. Like, truthfully, honestly, because I mean, I've always been somewhat of a Billy Joel fan. You know, everyone knows The Stranger. It's such a big album. But then when you start to like listen through stuff that maybe you'd only heard once, and now you're listening to it through new ears, you're like, oh my god, these are some of my new favorite songs.
Yep.
Like, it's always exciting to discover new stuff that like immediately like, oh, this is one of the best songs ever written.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And Billy Joel made it very easy to make it possible for me this week to think that.
We were talking about it in our message, and I said that I was going to bring it up, and you said, no, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. When was the first time you heard Billy Joel? What is your earliest memory
I guess aside
of Billy
from
Joel?
Oliver and Company, which I don't count, dude, I've only really been a Billy Joel fan for like maybe 11 years. And one of the, aside from, everybody heard Uptown Girl, and for the longest time, but that's so mainstream, and we didn't start the fire.
Yeah.
What really, the things that I heard from Billy Joel, I'll wait to say that, because a couple of them are on my list.
Okay.
So I'll save that for my list. The couple of songs that I was like, oh, this is Billy Joel.
Okay.
This is who he is.
All right. Well,
I guess I like Billy Joel.
I tell you what. We'll also get to that then. So we'll hold on to that note and continue.
I got a
with
lot of
our
honorable
list.
mentions. So
I'm
actually just gonna name them. I'm not gonna talk about them. Just name them, because there's not enough time.
I have 13.
I think I have about that.
If we have the same list of songs,
they're almost in order from least to best.
Okay.
They're all great though.
Mine aren't. They're kind of all over the place.
Okay,
but
here's my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I have Lullaby, in parentheses, Good Night, My Angel.
Okay.
I have And So It Goes.
Okay.
I Go to Extremes.
Yep,
Some of these songs I'd never heard before until the other day.
I
Go to Extremes was good.
Yeah, I'd first heard that too.
This is the time for the moment. I have that.
We're not going to talk about the bridge.
Another
bridge.
bridge song. Big Man on Mulberry Street. Super big band, jazzy. Loved it. James. She's Always a Woman. Hated to cut that one. My Life. Yeah. Now we're getting into songs that I absolutely hated cutting. My Life. Get It Right the First Time. Super underrated from The Stranger. Pressure.
Pressure's really good.
Good Night Sagan. Which Good Night Sagan was in that top 10 for so long that I was like, you know what? There's just something else I'm more passionate about. Rosalinda's Eyes, super unique and cool, and All for Lena.
Okay.
Which very cool song.
Okay.
I was gravitating a lot towards the angrier Joel this week. Can't lie. There's some like aggressive Joel songs. I'm
speaking of angry Joel, I had a Prelude, Angry Young Man on my list. I had Stormfront, Christy Lee, Keeping the Faith. Zanzibar did not make my list, shockingly. Moving Out, Sleeping with the Television On, Still Rock and Roll to Me, Allentown, and State of Grace. Those are my picks that did, and some of those songs came this close, so close. But there are some other songs that, dude, this week I have heard and I have had them on repeat. That's how much I fell in love with these songs.
Some of these are going to dominate my Spotify Wrapped. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, I'm not
thrilled
mad
about it.
I'm not mad about it.
Unlike the Taylor Swift one, which is It's still taking over my Spotify. She's still my number 3 artist of the last 6 months, and I don't know how.
So when we were first talking about this episode, I said, man, my list is going to be completely, totally squashed with The Stranger and 52nd Street.
Too, yeah.
And that's what but I'm so glad that we took the time to listen to some of these other records.
I gave other stuff a chance.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So, Caleb, your number 10.
So my number 10 is the one that you had in your honorable mentions, and it was hanging out of the top 10 until yesterday. I was like, you know what, it's got to go in.
Okay.
And that's Allentown.
Okay.
From the Nylon Curtain.
I had Allentown in my list until probably 12 hours ago.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'd never listened to all of the Nylon Curtain before this week, and was really surprised by how much I liked it, especially the first half of that album. Allentown sets the tone perfectly. As the first song, with much different production than what we've heard previously from Billy Joel. Especially love the slapback delay effect on the vocals, which maybe we'd heard a couple times, but not to this extent. Just a lovely song. If I'm not mistaken, this album was the first all digitally recorded album, and it shows. I think he wanted to make something a little bit sonically different.
Yes.
And Allentown's a great opener. I'm sure I'd heard it before. Like, I'm sure I had.
Yeah.
But I really heard it this week, and I'm liking it more and more every time that I hear it.
And what's really cool is that, like, for a lot of these songs, we listened to them in the car when we were going to shows and stuff like that, or when we were traveling and things like that. But when you put them earbuds in, or you put those headphones on and you hear some of these songs and hear just some of the stuff that's going on in the background, I don't think Billy Joel gets enough credit for what he can pull off sonically with his music.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Like, the whole... I wasn't a huge fan of Nylon Curtain, but without question, there's some things on that record that you don't really think about until you put earbuds on. I don't remember which song it is, but literally the vocals are in the left ear. The whole song, the vocal, and you don't do that today.
One of those later songs, if I'm not mistaken, because there were a couple Beatles-esque songs on it, but because nowadays with the way that music's recorded, bass, drums, vocals are in the middle. Yeah.
Completely in the middle.
And your guitars, stereo effects and stuff like that.
Nylon Curtain have all that.
Oh, yeah. What's your 10?
My number 10 is from 52nd Street. And it is Stiletto.
Stiletto! Man.
I had just heard this song, like really heard it.
Man, did I not have Stiletto in my honorable mention? No, I love Stiletto.
Dude.
Love it.
Okay, so... The sax solo at the beginning, and for me, what drug me into the song was that piano going don't. It literally sounded like to me, right? It sounded like something that would come off like a '70s cop show.
Yeah, he has a few songs like that.
But when that guitar starts and it gets really going, that song is brooding and lyrically,
it's a good one.
Lyrically, it is edgy for that time. I think.
Good.
But I love that song. Yeah. So Stiletto from 52nd Street is my number 10.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you brought it up, because I guess I just didn't want to drench my honorable mentions with 52nd Street, which I know
it's hard not to. It's a great album.
I could have done it, but I didn't. My number 9 is from 52nd Street.
There you go.
It's Half a Mile Away.
Okay.
This one just makes me feel really, really good. Which, I mean, some other songs do too, but a lot of my Billy Joel songs on here make me feel a little sad, if I'm being honest.
I mean, it can.
But the incorporation of the horns is just perfectly executed, and it has that really big band, and the vocal hooks on this song are really good. 52nd Street is essentially a jazz rock album. This one's a little bit more big band, like the horns of the ba-ba-da-dun, and they're really huge, and they have their own like little solo section in the middle that like mimics what the vocal melody. It's a wonderful little song. Towards the end of 52nd Street, but the whole album is just incredible.
So speaking of horns, my number 9 is from An Innocent Man, and that is Tell Her About It.
I don't remember it.
You know that song, Tell Her About It?
I don't know.
Tell her about it.
Yeah, sure.
You don't...
I know it. I know it. I guess it didn't leave that big of an impression.
Well, I liked it a lot.
Innocent Man was the doo-woppy album,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything from that.
You know I'm a big sucker for that kind of music.
And I'm not.
I know, that's fine. That's why it's our top 10.
Here's the thing. I still like those songs, though.
They're just not to you. They're not as good as some other songs.
I only had 10 songs. I can
I
only
know.
pick 10.
It was hard. It was hard to pick a
Dang.
10. It's hard to pick a 10.
Oh, I forgot to mention this was very hard to pick.
It was.
to dwindle down. To
It
10.
was.
Yeah.
Because what was funny is that we were talking about it again. We don't really talk about the episodes before we record them. We just save it. Do what we're supposed to. I told you last night I had 23 songs and I didn't know how to bring them down because even the honorable mentions I wanted to have a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Just tell her about it. John.
number 8.
Number 8. Okay, so here's one that is going to be a divisive one because apparently this is the divisive song, but I'd literally heard it for the first time just the other day.
Okay.
And it's from the Nylon Curtain again.
Okay.
It's my last one from the Nylon Curtain. I'm going to stop all the Nylon Curtain praise after this.
Okay.
But it's the second song on the album, Laura.
Okay.
I heard it for the first time this week and was immediately taken back by how much it sounds like Lennon Beatles. Especially what's the one Lucy in the Sky Diamonds. The intro kind of sounds like that, and it's a purposely oddly structured song, which for me goes extremely well with just how harsh lyrically that song is. I've seen like videos where lyrically he's talking about like Laura's not about one particular person. It's just kind of about like being in a codependent relationship where like it's a toxic relationship basically, and it's pretty harsh. It's also the only Billy Joel song that drops the F-bomb.
Yeah.
So whenever I heard it, I was like, whoa, like, really?
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to that. He never did it again. And it'll probably 100% make my Spotify top songs at the end of the year, just because it's so new to me. And I hear it, I'm like, oh god, I love the elements he's adding to this, and it definitely does sound like
We only do 80s Joel.
definitely sounds like Joel goes Beatles in the weirdest song structured kind of way. Really, really love that one.
Well, speaking of toxic relationships, my number 8 is one of your honorable mention songs, and that is All for Lena.
Yeah.
I really
Great one.
like that song.
It almost made my top 10.
Ghost and Bon Jovi influences in that song for sure. With the keyboards.
I assume this came before the Bon Jovi song.
Oh God, yeah,
This came out in 80, right? Or 79?
Yeah, Glass Houses came out in 1980.
80,
I
okay.
think.
Yeah.
So,
is
that
my
would
favorite
have
song from that
been
album.
that would have been really far ahead from the Bon Jovi because I think the Bon Jovi record came out in 84, 83, 84. Anyway, yes, love the keyboards in that song.
Oh, dude, the synthesizer
That'll-
solo is sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, I really like that song. Yep.
That one. I'll listen to that one a lot too.
Yeah, I've listened to my top 10
Here's
today
why-
a lot
here's
just to
why-
make sure that's what I
Here's
wanted.
why I was slightly thrown off by the keyboard solo because I've heard like stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they were they did it first,
Right.
And I was like, "Where's this song gonna go?" Here's why this song's so much better than the Bon Jovi song, and I'd even say the Ghost song is because just the verse is just. Listen, there may be like one or two Billy Joel songs where he does not try as a songwriter, and I think maybe We Didn't Start the Fire is one of those when it comes to the chord elements. But just the way that All for Lena goes, like the dun 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 dun, dun, it's just so like I don't know, it's exciting and it goes to cool places despite having that keyboard. I'm like, oh, is this a Bon Jovi song?
So, speaking of We Didn't Start the Fire, my number 7 is. I'm just kidding.
Oh god.
So, people can never say that their phone doesn't listen to them, and let me tell you why. Because yesterday, when I got home from work, I turned on my television and turned on the YouTube app. A Billy Joel interview come up, and he was talking about We Didn't Start the Fire with Howard Stern. Have you seen this?
I think I have. He's crap talking it a little
Yeah,
bit, right?
he's literally like he goes, it's probably the worst song I've ever written.
Yeah,
he goes from a melody standpoint, it is the worst song he's ever written because he's literally going dun 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 dun, and he's like he's. And so if you have a chance, go watch that clip. It's only about 2.5 minutes, but it's absolutely hilarious.
If you can
hearing
make
Billy
it through
Joel
the Howard Stern
crap on
element
him
of it, then,
on his own song. Number 7.
No,
for
number
you.
7 is from my first one from The Stranger.
Okay.
And its first song is Moving Out, Anthony's song.
Okay.
The band Bayside introduced me to the song, surprisingly.
Same.
Which is crazy, because the song's from like 77, but I heard it for the first time in 2012.
And they did a good cover.
They did a cover of it, and that I was like, oh, this is awesome. There's no way Billy Joel's version is better. I'm like, yeah, it is. Naturally. And I've listened to it probably way too much since that I can't even remember like really how much I loved it initially.
Yeah.
But a perfectly written pop song.
I agree.
With some of his best vocal harmonies in the verse. Whenever those harmonies come, it's like, oh, like the Sergeant Olivia's walking.
We'll talk about this because I'm sure there's probably 2 or 3 Stranger songs in your top 5.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
In mine too. I'll go ahead and
Yeah,
spoil
so,
it.
it is what it is.
You don't know what it is, but my number 7 actually is from The Stranger as well, and it's Vienna.
Okay.
Why are you going? Okay.
Here's what we're gonna do. Whenever we have songs that we both have in the top 10,
Okay.
and they're not like completely lined up, we'll just let the other person talk about it. And
I don't care.
And I won't even cut in. I won't even cut in and
But
say
you
what I
can
have
cut-
to say.
you can cut in.
No, whenever I talk about it, I will. But you talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to hear what you have to say
Well,
for bringing it so low.
I'll explain why it's so low
Let's
in a
hear
little
it.
bit.
It's really, first off, it's in the top 10.
It's in the top 10 Billy Joel song. What do you want?
This is your 7, Vienna?
This is my 7. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Let's hear
here's the reason why.
Okay.
That piano intro is iconic.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Sure.
And it's just it's a great song.
Yeah.
It's just a great song.
Okay.
When will you realize it's a great song?
Yeah.
I mean, if I hadn't listened to more Billy Joel this week, it probably would have been in the top 3.
I understand that.
But there's a lot of songs coming up that this week I've just been like, you know what, this just hits. It just hits.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So 6 is a song from 52nd Street.
Okay.
Kind of similar to Moving Out because they're both, I don't know, very eccentric, like kind of like rocky songs, and that's Big Shot. From
Okay.
52nd Street, the first song on 52nd Street. This was actually one of the first songs that got me to actually get me into Billy Joel. We were talking about the For the Longest Time and Uptown Girl, but I heard this one around the same time as I heard Moving Out, maybe slightly before. I heard it in a bar in Logan because me and my friends went there after wedding rehearsals, and we went there. And I don't drink. I was just there, and I heard the song playing over the thing. I was like, "What? It's like, what is this melody?" And I was like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is Billy Joel." I was like, "Oh, this is Billy Joel."
Yeah.
I was like, "I guess I need to devote my life to this album." But yeah, similar to Moving Out, I've heard it so many times that I slightly forgot just how much I loved the song, and I could have easily kicked that out. But I like. There's a part of me that slightly remembers just how much that song like changed me for a little bit.
Sure.
Even though I don't feel that same way anymore, I had to keep it there in the mid range, so I kept it at number 6, and it feels kind of aggressive. I like how he gets a little bit aggressive vocally, and I think it's one of his best, I guess, quote unquote rock songs. There's still, the album's kind of jazzy, but that's probably the most rock song on 52nd Street, and it starts the album off with it. So.
Well, speaking of 52nd Street,
You had to be a big shot.
we're
We're gonna have a lot of 52nd Street here in a row.
We're gonna stay with the kind of songs that you were saying, like rebellious rock songs, and my number 6 is My Life.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's awesome.
If I'm not mistaken, the Bosom Buddies theme song, the sitcom that Tom Hanks was in the 80s. If I'm not mistaken, that's the theme song of that show.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly.
They were like I don't know, they dressed up as women. Do you remember that show? You don't remember?
No, dude.
It's like a fever dream. Yeah, it's a thing. It exists.
Okay.
My Life is the theme song.
Okay. I believed you.
Yeah.
I just never saw it. Now I want to, though.
Oh, yeah. Look that up.
That's weird.
Yeah, they yeah.
Okay. It's not weird. I mean...
No. Just look. It does... It seems strange because you're like... did this thing existed? Like, this was a Tom Hanks thing? Wow. I gotta go look that up.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it is.
That's cool.
15. 5, 15, 32. I don't know.
Why do you like My Life?
I already said why. Did I not?
Now, I kind of took it over with Bosom
Oh, no.
Buddies.
I was just saying, I really like the vocal melody in it.
Great.
And I love the fact that it's It almost feels anthemic.
Oh God, this is a rough one.
Anthemic.
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 I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
It
not a-
feels like an anthem.
It
There
does.
we go.
It does.
But it does. I really like the lyrics of "It's my life, leave me alone." You know, it's a personal type of liking it.
Great, musically great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I was re-listening to 52nd Street this week, I was like, this is definitely going to make my top 10. And then it didn't. I was like, oh man, that sucks. But I do have at my number 5, another 52nd Street.
Okay.
It's my last one from 52nd Street. I promised to cut that out, but it's also my favorite, and you had it in your honorable mentions for some crazy reason.
Okay.
Have Zanzibar as my favorite song from 52nd Street. So this is the Billy Joel song that has the most in common with the A Steely Dan song.
It does feel like a Steely Dan song.
This is the jazziest song on 52nd Street. Really unique song that's oozing complexity in jazz. The mid-tempo switch up in the middle with the trumpet solo is amazing. The whole 52nd Street album is a jazz rock detour that just pays off wonderfully. And Zanzibar is the peak for me. Just love everything about that. I don't even know what on earth he's singing about. This is why I put lyrics.
It's random. It's random stuff.
This is why I put lyrics like maybe second or third for me. Because if it's got the song structure, it's got the melody, I'm there. And Billy Joel's like oozing with that.
That's the thing about Billy Joel. It's like if he has a story to tell, one of the best.
Yeah.
Like he can really tell a story in a song. But if he doesn't have something already thought out, it's just a bunch of lyrical nonsense. Of just a bunch of stuff thrown together. Right.
Yeah.
Number 4. Here's where it's going to be.
You're at 5.
Oh, 5.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
5. Yeah, you're 5.
Well, number 5. Here's where we start to get a little bit.
What's it gonna be?
It's The Longest Time.
Oh, Josh.
From An Innocent Man.
Josh.
What? What?
Mainstreamer.
Oh, I know.
Mainstreamer.
Barbershop Quartet song. So mainstream.
I'm so sorry, audience. I apologize for Joe. No,
Here's the thing.
It's a good song.
Here's the thing. I absolutely love barbershop quartet type stuff and acapella stuff. Love that. Big Huey Lewis and the News fan. We know this. That what they were built on was that. Yeah. So to me, that feels like a Huey Lewis and the News song before Huey Lewis and the News blew up. So I love that song. I really love that song.
Really good song.
So that's my number 5. Barbershop Quartets. Let's do it.
It's a good one. 4 for me.
4.
Okay, here's where it gets good.
Uh-oh.
Like these next 2 are songs that maybe I didn't really even know. And I'm like, oh, they are climbing the charts like quickly.
Okay.
And if I give it another 2 weeks, they might climb the chart even more. Past my number 1 and 2. But at 4 I have Summer Highland Falls from Turnstiles. Vaguely knew this song before this week, but I was instantly won over by the absolutely addictive piano melody in the intro. The lyrics evoke both, to quote the song, sadness and euphoria. I believe he said it was about manic depression. Which, the song isn't depressing or anything like that. When you hear it, it evokes a bunch of different emotions. It's a short little pop song, but it reminds me of times when I was young. Kind of like, why does this feel nostalgic? But it evokes a surprising amount of emotion. And the sax, I believe it's a saxophone and clarinet solo mixed together, is incredible. Definitely feels like a precursor to an artist like Ben Folds. Like that song sounds like, it's like, oh, this sounds like Whatever and Ever Amen kind of, or maybe like a Philosophy from his debut album. Especially that piano melody. It's like, oh, this started a whole new kind of genre. Kind of like sort of like the piano rock. I know Elton John was around and whatnot, but this one had that I don't know, a really nostalgic element. Listen, I've been wearing this song out. It's gonna be
your number 1.
Be top.
It's gonna be your number 1.
It might pass up Wichita Lineman by Glenn Campbell, which I also kind of discovered this year. I love discovering songs from the 70s and 60s that I'd really never listened to.
Nothing wrong with that.
This was one of those that I just loved it. It makes me feel.
It makes you feel things.
You remember feelings, right?
No. I have not felt feelings
I was quoting Dennis from It's Always Sunny, and Mac's like, yeah, Dennis, I feel feelings every day.
Well, speaking of feelings, a lot of people are going to be angry at me.
Oh no.
My number 4 is Scenes from an Italian Restaurant.
Okay.
That's number 4.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Storytelling Billy Joel song.
Yeah.
Okay? What he does best. This is a song that you literally can sit and put the song on and just lose yourself in that song.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit and picture yourself sitting at this restaurant and seeing all of this stuff happening.
Yeah.
And that saxophone solo. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's so good.
It's a good one, yeah.
It's so good. But I love the whole arrangement of that song. I love the roller coaster it takes you on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the outro. It's just it is a perfect song. It's a perfect song.
Yeah, it's a song for sure.
Thank you, Caleb.
It's a song.
Thank you for the input.
It exists. Moving on from Scenes from an Italian Restaurant for whatever reason. Okay, my number 3 is
Scenes from an Italian
my number
Restaurant.
3 is another one that I've definitely heard, but it's another Turnstile song.
Okay.
Really like Turnstiles, but this is A New York State of Mind.
That's so good. The
I have
song is so good.
no connection to New York. I have no connection to never been there.
Some folks like to get away.
Maybe never will be there. But Joel paints such a vivid picture thanks to this truly jazzy and melancholic song structure. Yet again, pretty new to the song, but it has made me feel emotion every single time.
Yeah.
Very, very emotional every time I hear it. It's a beautiful arrangement and a perfectly placed saxophone in the song. He has some really good saxophone.
He does.
Moments in his songs.
does.
And this is one of the top ones for me. Yeah, I really that'll be another one that's being worn out on my Spotify, even, despite it being kind of long.
Sure.
It just makes me feel some things. So, you remember feelings. These top 3 just make me feel some feelings. What's your 3?
We're sticking with The Stranger. And number 3 for me is The Stranger.
Oh, Josh.
Buddy. My
I wish I liked it more.
My top 2.
I wish I liked it more. Man.
Really?
Yeah, I do like it.
Oh, I
do like it. It's
The
probably
Stranger.
my 3rd least favorite song on the album. For some reason, only The Good Die Young. There's something about that song I don't love, and I don't love the ending song.
Well, this is
All these songs are good, though.
It's a spoiler alert. It's
All
a
these
spoiler
songs are
alert. If we ever pull the topic from the hat
Yeah.
of albums that have no skips, The Stranger will be on that for me.
He wouldn't be on mine.
It would be for me.
I don't think any Billy Joel album would be on there for me.
The Stranger would be an album
Which
that
is
has
good
no
because
skips.
I saw where Billy Joel talked about. He was talking about I would usually, because all of his albums have like 10 songs, like almost all of them do. He's like, I usually write about 7 songs, and then 3 of the songs that I just kind of throw in, which is still works because 10 songs isn't that much.
No, it's about 40 minutes of music.
These were all easy albums to kind of get through, even though some songs are kind of long.
Yeah.
And if you write 7 amazing songs, I mean, who else? Like, how many people can you even count that have done that through the course of 12 albums? So I mean, good for
him.
Good for Billy. Good for him. You have anything else to say about The Stranger? That's
actually exactly what I was talking about.
Stranger, then we stranger, then we stranger. Those are the words.
The song starts with the piano and the whistle, which when you see The Stranger and you see that title and you hear that intro, you think it's going to be some soft, melancholy love song.
Then it gets hard.
Then it gets hard rock heavy.
Not really.
But
For Billy Joel,
but for Billy Joel, it gets heavy.
Yeah. The guitars were turned up a little
yeah.
more.
But and it just that song kicks ass. I'm sorry. Oh, whatever.
God, Josh.
Yeah,
Jeez,
we try to be PG on the show.
It still is. It still is. It still is PG.
Well, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to be Seth Kitzmiller from the art episode. Number 2.
Okay. Got a stranger banger coming up here.
Uh-oh.
It's The Stranger. No, I'm joking. I have Vienna as my number 2.
God, Caleb, why so high?
Because it's incredible and it's an amazing song. No, it's a beautifully simplistic song that you can feel every ounce of emotion that Billy Joel is spilling out.
Sure.
It feels.
I won't argue that.
This is a common theme, but it feels extremely nostalgic despite coming out 13 years before I was born. If I'm not mistaken, 77, right? So 13 years before we were born.
Right.
Is that correct? Am I getting math wrong? No, that's right.
77,
We were born in 90.
90, 30,
Yeah,
yes.
that's 13 years. So, ooh, God, full mouth. The chord changes in the chorus quite literally give me chills every time. You know how many times I've heard this song?
A lot.
Oh my gosh, hundreds and
I know.
hundreds of times.
You and I both.
And yet when we get to the chorus, it's still, I'm like, oh God. This is,
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
all of the chorus.
That's-
But yeah, easily one of the greatest songs ever written, and easy to understand why it's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Very easy. Just
Yeah.
I don't know, super.
It's easy listening.
Yeah, very easily listening and incredibly agreeable in the best possible way. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody not liking this song.
I agree.
Great. Great
I can't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
My number 2 is a song that I literally just heard 2 days ago, but I swear to God, it's probably up in the top. What?
This can't go good. Okay, let's.
It's probably not. People are going to be like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, my
You're
number
an
2
idiot.
are pretty like standard. My top 2.
My number 2 is from Stormfront,
Oh no.
and That's Not Her Style. I freaking love this song.
That was the first song on the album, right?
No, is it? Okay, yes. Yeah, it is the first song on the record.
Yeah, I understand why.
So good.
I didn't love it.
It reminds me of a Huey Lewis and the News song.
It reminded me a little bit of Peter Gabriel.
And that, the harmonica and stuff gives it kind of a Huey Lewis and the News vibe.
Yeah.
But that whole album, I love that record. I love Stormfront. I absolutely hate myself for not listening to that record sooner.
Yeah.
Love that record.
Yeah, it's no Nylon Curtain.
It's better than Nylon
It is
Curtain.
absolutely not.
It absolutely is.
It is almost too 80s. It is almost too.
And that's fine. I like the
Nylon,
80s.
Nylon Curtain kind
I
of.
like the 80s.
Nylon Curtain kind of isn't. Like I know it's the first digital recorded album apparently, but there's just so many different things on that album that doesn't stick to an 80s trope, you know. So I'm gonna defend it, Josh. I'm gonna keep
That's fine.
I'm gonna
Defend
defend it till the bitter end.
I tell you what.
There's only a couple songs I didn't care for on that album.
I tell you what,
yeah.
I will probably go back and listen to
There's a lot of
his
great
discography again at some point. Maybe, who knows? I may have a different opinion on Nylon Curtain, but
Maybe. I was taken by surprise by how
today.
much I liked it. Yeah. Number one.
Number one. Is this where we get the story?
What story?
Of when you first heard Billy Joel? Have we not?
I already did that. I did that with Big
Oh.
Shot. I talked about that.
Oh, okay. So
did that.
you didn't specify that.
I did actually. I did, Josh. I did say
I don't
that.
think I didn't.
I said going back to when I said whenever I really first got into Billy Joel, this was Big Shot. I heard it in a bar. I said that. I told the story like Billy Joel would have told the story. I was in a bar. It was Piano Man. Okay, my number one.
You remember Feelings?
My number one is From the Stranger.
Okay.
No big surprise here.
Oh,
you knowing me, it's scenes from an Italian restaurant.
Oh, wow. Shocker.
Listen, John. First off, John. Listen. It's not like scenes from an Italian restaurant was some big successful single. It just became popular because it's that great.
It's good. It's that good.
Similar to all the songs on The Strangers, but it's the most ambitious song of his career, I think. Uniquely structured, feeling like 3 different songs thrown into one, sort of like a Bohemian Rhapsody. But you know what? I like this song more than Bohemian Rhapsody.
I do too.
I do too. It's just better. Each segment completely stands out. One of the most well composed songs of all time, and never boring despite its nearly 8-minute runtime. It blends jazz, progressive pop, and piano rock to make for literally an exciting listen every time.
Sure.
Listen to it with some good headphones this week a few times. I was like, man, I'm picking up on new things I've never, and I've heard the song just as much as I heard
100 times.
just as much as I heard Vienna. Like seriously, yeah, one of the greatest songs. That song is just every time as I call it, every part just hits every single part. The outro.
Yeah.
You know, it's great.
So
My saxophone impersonation.
So my story time for number one.
I still listen. I've heard that song a billion times. I could never memorize all the words.
Oh no, because it's 1,000 miles an hour.
I'm taking it off the list. It's too much, William. Too much. What's your number?
So,
we clearly don't have the same number one.
No, clearly.
I'm gonna be.
You're gonna be so pissed.
I am.
You're gonna be so pissed.
I'm already annoyed that you had a song from whatever at number 2.
I knew you would be.
Or whatever.
I knew you.
don't even remember the name of the album.
Stormfront.
I mixed
Stormfront,
two
dang it.
albums. The Bridge, and
Bridge
Stormfront.
Front. We apologize to all the Billy Joel super fans that might be
We're just
listening.
getting there. We're getting there.
We're just getting 8-year-old. I get this VHS tape, and it's Garth Brooks live from Central Park. Okay? Hold on.
Okay.
Billy Joel comes out and plays some songs with Garth.
Oh, cool.
So this is the first time I've ever seen Billy Joel.
Mm-hmm.
They played Shameless, which is also a great song. It would have been in my honorable mention if Garth didn't do a better version. He did New York State of Mind, and he did my number one song with Garth, You May Be Right. That was the first time I'd ever heard Billy Joel, and ever since then, that song has stuck in my mind when I think Billy Joel more than any Billy Joel song. So it will always be my number one Billy Joel song. I may like all of these songs more, but and honestly, all of these songs that I've listed so far are better than that song. But that song will always be my number one just because of the nostalgia.
It's a lot of people's favorite song by Billy Joel, actually. Yep. And it's funny that he performed that with Garth Brooks, because while it is more of like an old school rock and roll song, I think it still has... It could be easily adapted into a country song. Like because it kind of reminds me of that, which this came before this song, but that Dwight Yoakam song. What's that song? Maybe I'll
Fast as You,
which is also kind of like a Roy Orbison. So it's kind of like a Roy Orbison song. That song is great.
Yeah.
Glass Houses, is that what it's called?
Yes, from Glass Houses. Yep. It's the
one.
first song on
It's
Glass
like
Houses.
Rock and roll old school rock and roll album. Yeah.
But that will forever be my number one Billy Joel song. I don't care if I like all of these songs better. Yeah. That will always be number one to me.
Cool.
So,
those were the top 10.
Those were our top
Those were the official
10. The official.
Nobody else's is accurate.
All other lists will be burned to the ground and thrown into the river.
Everybody's going to be like, Caleb, that choice to put Laura at 9 was really brave and ballsy, and we loved that.
Yes.
We now like Laura as much as you like that song, Caleb.
Yeah. And the fact that you
you're welcome, audience.
The fact that you put scenes in from an Italian restaurant at 4, Josh, that was also ballsy, and we hate you for it.
You put Vienna at 7.
Sorry,
man. If we did do it,
it's my top 10.
Man, if we did do a competition to see who got the most votes, I'd still get screwed over. It's like, hey, Caleb, Laura, you have Laura at 9.
What is that?
We don't care.
What song is that?
We don't care if you have Vienna at 2 and scenes from an Italian restaurant.
From number 1. All right. Cale, anything that you would like to add about Billy Joel?
Love him.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm going to continue to listen to these songs. I didn't just do it for the show. I'm going to continue to do it. Oh no, Josh. What is it, Josh? Oh no.
Next week,
we
are going to be talking about bands that we think are overrated.
Oh no. Okay. In my mind, I was hoping we was going to pull this one eventually soon, but
I cannot wait.
Okay, we need to set some rules here. We cannot get defensive about if we say an artist. Neither of us can get defensive about it. Because it's going to probably happen, maybe to me. I'm going to get defensive. So I can't do that. I got to remind myself.
Why are you going to get defensive?
You never know. I already know when you're going to pop out, and I'm like, "Oh, Josh, why did you do that? Why did you do it? I already know what it's going to be." But
well, why don't you give the people a quick little thing? What do you think it is? And I'll tell you if it is or not. Go ahead.
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, spoil it.
I don't want to
spoil it. Spoil it. Because I'm curious what you think.
I know you really don't like Nirvana. You really don't like Nirvana.
I was honestly probably not going to put them on my list. I was more so going to stick with today's artists that I think are overrated.
I think we need to set another rule here.
Okay.
There is a critical by the actual definition of overrated. Talk about artists that actually get legitimate critical acclaim and you've never really seen it. You're like, I don't get it. But here's the thing with me with the term overrated. I don't necessarily believe in it. So I'm gonna have to go against my own beliefs next week and literally just talk about artists that I never really got, but so many people like, and I'm
That's me.
Like, I don't get it.
That's me.
But then there's then we'll talk about another side of the overrated where an artist has such a big fan base, and you're like, why? Why on earth?
Agreed.
Despite them maybe
Agreed.
not having the best critical acclaim.
Agreed.
You know, like I'm not going to talk about this band next week, but Greta Van Fleet would be one.
They'd be. They're definitely going to be on my list.
I'm not going to talk about them because I just have no passion about like dislike or like. I'm like, I don't understand this. I don't know why people like this, but whatever. But yeah, those are going to be the rules. No, don't get defensive, Josh, whenever I talk about some of these.
I'm not going to be defensive. I'm not going to be defensive.
I'm going to go in.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go in on them. It's going to be a massacre.
Do it. Because Radiohead's going to be on my list. I'm just going to tell you
Josh,
that.
that would be the dumbest mistake of your life. I'm going to put the Beatles on there.
Cross your arms, Caleb.
Which
I don't
hate
care.
myself.
we all would.
I hate myself for. I'm going to put Billy Joel on
Goodbye,
there.
listeners.
Billy Joel. Billy Joel.
Caleb, where can people find us?
You can find us by typing in Chat From a Hat on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can email us at chatfromahatcast@gmail.com. And obviously, you can listen to us wherever you stream podcasts.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we are going to be talking next week about bands that we think are overrated. Shout It Out Loudcast thinks that we've ripped them off because that's what they did this week. But we didn't. Tom and Zeus, we're sorry.
Just came out.
Just came out of the hat like normal. But anyway, so folks, we hope you enjoyed our top 10 Billy Joel lists, and we will talk to you next week about bands that we think are overrated.